Divine friends and family, this is Friday, October 2nd, 2020. Today that I'm recording, actually, RKs Guyana Free Media in the RAW. And I thought I'd give you another reading. The last one I did, or the first one today, was or whichever one comes first or second, was my writing that was published in the Guyana Chronicle that advises public servants, sensible people, not to do wrong things because of some idiotic, manipulative, wicked, deceitful politician trying to make idiots out of good people while they're hiding and saving their skins. Ladies and gentlemen, I always wonder why some people are so not too wise, you know. Now, I just returned home and I am in a very kind of a mood that is disturbing and worrisome about my country, only wanting the country to prosper and to get better. Remember, this is in the RAW, so that's why all of these meanderings and the movements and shakes, and I can't correct usually. So, Freddie Kissoon's article, Sarabo Halley, Craig Patterson, Facing Reality. And this man really has a brain to think of these things on a daily basis, to publish these things, and then we, the people of this country, must be very appreciative and grateful to him. And this is the article by yours truly, Haji Dr. Roshan Khan, in the RAW, RKs Guyana Free Media. The WPA, operating in the only format Guyanese have come to know it by, press conferences, politics, and that it gave the PNC 4 names from which to choose 2 parliamentarians to represent it in the House. It so happened the PNC assigned it 1, and was Tabitha Sarabo Halley, herein refers to as TSH. And I find her to be, out of politics, a very wonderful lady, and even good looking, if I might tell you. I personally find her an attractive young lady, but politics is politics, and you do what you got to do when you're in that arena of politics, which is a nasty arena generally. The WPA said that even if the PNC chose 1, its first preference was a candidate named Ali Majid, who would rotate with TSH during the 5 years in the House. The WPA asked for that format to be accepted. The PNC refused. The WPA pulled out of the APNO combination. So they vex, they walk out, right? Here is where the story gets absorbing. So prepare yourself, ladies and gentlemen, for the wonderful writing and style of the guy I admire so much as a writer and a political analyst, Freddie Kissoon. Here is where the story gets absorbing. Once the WPA exited the APNO, then TSH's, Tash's, that is Sarabo Halley, eligibility for Parliament lapsed, since the WPA could no longer be considered. They walked out of the coalition. TSH then resigned from the WPA. In doing so, she then signaled to the PNC that she is eligible to be selected as an APNO and AFC candidate. The PNC accepted her position. What interpretation can be put to the direction TSH has gone into? Is she an opportunist, or has she been seen dialectical changes in Guyanese politics? And she wants to have a role that she feels shall not be taken away from her. So is she an opportunist, or she does not want this role taken away, according to Freddie Kissoon? Back to the article. There are 2 assignments, I beg your pardon, remember this is in the RAW, and I'm reading and walking and talking, photographing myself. There are 2 assessments that one can make. If she is an inflexible WPA ideologue, then on a matter of principle, she should not hold a seat that the WPA should get, and should show loyalty to the WPA. He's saying she should show loyalty and should not get that seat. Back to the article. The other evaluation is that she can justify leaving the WPA because she sees 2020 as finally bringing down the curtain on that anachronism. Why then should anyone prevent her from embracing activism if that is in her heart? David Hines is the person who speaks through press conferences politics for the WPA. Hines represented a moral confusion. The WPA was a one-man show from outside of Guyana. Hines virtually lives and works and has his existence in the U.S. And the man brave because he's attacking the U.S., but we know democracy in the U.S. is quite different. Once you're not treasonous to the U.S. Back to the article. With the PNC's loss of power in the 2020 election, Hines knows that the future capture of power by the PNC borders on the improbable and impossible. He knows he's not coming back to work and live in Guyana, so the final rights of the fictional WP has been read. And now, my little darling, my granddaughter in the raw is here. Say hello. Say hello, Grandpa. And here's my darling, my Grandpa, your Grandpa. Hey, Grandpa love her. And Grandpa loves this Baba. Give Grandpa a kiss. Come. What?
Jumping.
You going to jump in?
Grass.
You're going to grass?
Grass.
You're going to the grass?
Grass.
Yeah. Okay, let's go in the grass. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. My granddaughter, as you saw her, came out and she's priority. Right? She is my life. She is my love. My granddaughter, Saleha. Saleha. Beautiful name. All right? Saleha Catalina Zamal. That's her name. Now back to the article. So we said Hines virtually lives and works and he has his existence in the USA. With the PNC's loss of power in the 2020 election, Hines knows that the future capture of power by the PNC borders on the improbable and impossible. He knows he is not coming back to work and live in Guyana, so the final rights of the fictional WPA have been read. I think we read that a bit earlier, but no problem. He has formed a brand new organization, Society for Afro-Guyanese Empowerment, SAGE. This development has justified TSH looking out for her own political future, Freddie Kissoon says. So he's giving Sarabo Hali the right to look out for what is right for herself. Back to the article. Leonard Craig has resigned from all positions of authority in the AFC, Executive Committee, Management Committee, and Deputy General Secretary. David Patterson has resigned as General Secretary and has tendered his resignation as a parliamentarian. Up to the time of writing, he has not withdrawn it, but the Gang of Three, formerly the Gang of Four, inside the AFC has been broaching his replacement with other AFC bigwigs, says Freddie Kissoon. In this, RKs Guyana Free Media in the Raw. Back to the article. The emergency meeting of the AFC on Sunday will put the question as to if the AFC should accept his exit. Patterson seems strong in his stance of leaving. Craig has a doctorate in administration. Patterson did well in his private career as a quantity surveyor. Both men must have asked the question, where does the AFC go from here? Even a schoolboy can answer it. Whatever hopes the AFC had of staying alive after its devastating showing in the 2015 general poll and the 2018 local government election have been completely dissolved by the dismal performance in the 2020 election. And you know, again, I got to compliment the People's National Congress for being such a kind party. And I tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, to me, the PNC are usually kind to people who help them, especially if they are from another not their mainstream ethnicity of support. So I just got a bite from a mosquito. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. So the APNU and AFC lost by 24,000 votes. Those were bailouts. Those were ballots that were directly related to AFC constituencies in 2011 that decreased in 2015, then disappeared in 2020. But they gave the AFC 9 seats, ladies and gentlemen. Can you believe that? And I always say the PNC are usually kinder to people of other than their own major ethnicity, because it is in their DNA to be kind and benevolent, to keep those supporters within themselves. Imagine they give 9 seats. And we know, and the AFC know, and the PNC knows that they did not even bring a third of 1 seat. The AFC technically is wiped out. I'm wondering what will happen now if the AFC decides to pull out of the coalition. I don't know the legalistics that goes with that, or the legalities, but the fact remains that if they walk out, I think they'll still be entitled to the 9 seats. And that could be a catastrophe caused by being overly kind to the AFC, which did not deserve such generosity or charity. I think it's more charity on the part of the People's National Congress. Back to the article. The PNC knows that its 32 seats came from the majority of Africans Guyanese, with a percentage from mixed voters and the indigenous communities. In the 2020 elections, the results revealed to the world that the raison d'etre of the APNU-AFC coalition no longer exists. The purpose of the existence no longer exists. The raison d'etre. In Parliament, there is no AFC corner. There is one entity named the APNU and AFC. Whatever remnants of feelings people still have for the AFC, those people know that such expressions cannot be catered for by the AFC, because the AFC has to accept the overall direction of the opposition in Parliament. In other words, they have no power. They have to carry the instructions out of their masters, who are kind and charitable to them, and they cannot in any way object or vote against anything, or they could be whipped, so to say. Back to the article. Obviously, these are questions that Craig and Patterson must have asked themselves. In other words, they become Lilliputian. And those of you who want to know what is Lilliputian, I've been using that word quite a bit. It means extra small. In Gulliver Travels, he landed at a city, and the people were known as Lilliputians because they were so small compared to him. Back to the article. For you guys who never read, you children, you need to really read Gulliver Travels. Craig, with a doctorate, is in his 40s. Surely he knows from the shape of politics to come, his political dreams, if he has any, cannot be realized by a bygone creature named the AFC. Freddie Kissoon say that creature called the AFC has been wiped out. So to say, ladies and gentlemen, Patterson may have used the excuse of the Region 4 Vice Chairman debacle as the opportunity to call it George. And you know, you say call it in George, it's like you end it, you finish. I call it George. Back to a final paragraph from Freddie Kissoon. I once shared a close friendship with Patterson. I told you this before. They campaigned together, ate together, punished together, suffered together, meeting after meeting, to help the AFC in the support of the coalition for the 2015 elections. I once shared a close friendship with Patterson. Power intoxication destroyed our camaraderie, and Patterson himself, in other words, Patterson lost his sting and his elegance and his beauty and his power, because of power. I wish Craig the best in his future plans. Freddie Kissoon. Read by me, yours truly, Haji Dr. Roshan Khan. Friends and families, in love to you. Enjoy your evening, and as the weekend dawns, those of us who have to work, we have to work. Those of you who will relax, relax. But those of you who are smart and have another business or source of income, because anyone who depends on one source of income can't really be successful and achieve all the things they would like to achieve in life. You have to have another source of income. A businessman needs 3 to 7 sources of income. Buy a 3-wheeler from us and do general transport to make some easy dollars in your community. Use the vehicle to travel, and also set up a business, man. Look, you could start doing washing of vehicles. Yeah, you get a power machine, washing of vehicles. You put a 200 or 300 gallon water reservoir on top of the vehicle, and you move around cleaning people's vehicle. If they have their water supply, all the better. If you have to use your water supply, you charge an extra $500. And you start a business washing houses and properties and so on. I mean, it's so easy to go into a second business. Anybody who does not have a second career, or can earn extra money, or have several aspects of earning money, usually is not very successful. And then they get upset when they see other people being successful and questioning them how they got there. Just a little bit of free advice in industry and commerce, ambition and achievement. Your friend, your brother, me, Haji Dr. Roshan Khan, saying thank you for being with me this evening in what I refer to as In the Raw. RKs Guyana Free Media. And I say to you, my beloved divine friends and families, farewell, friends.